13 U-turns, one Prime Minister, his credibility shattered in real time. I watched Keir Starmer lose control in the House of Commons. Not the calm, calculated leader he pretends to be. The real Starmer, defensive, angry, cornered. What the opposition revealed about his constant policy reversals exposed something far worse than incompetence. It exposed the man who has no idea what he actually believes. The chamber was packed. Conservative MPs sensed blood. Labour backbenchers shifted uncomfortably, knowing this wouldn't end well. The Conservative MP rose, holding a single sheet of paper. Everyone knew it contained devastating ammunition. Mr. Speaker, I have a simple question for the Prime Minister. Since taking office, how many major policy reversals has his government made? Starmer's face tightened. The cameras caught it. The government makes decisions based on evidence and circumstances. We inherited an economy in crisis, and we're making the tough choices necessary to fix this country. Pure deflection. Blame the previous government, avoid the accusation. But the Conservative MP wasn't done. Mr. Speaker, let me help the Prime Minister with his memory. Digital identity cards. U-turn. Family farm inheritance tax. U-turn. Winter fuel payments. U-turn. WASPy women compensation. U-turn. Two-child benefit cap. U-turn. Grooming gang inquiry. U-turn. Trial by jury reforms. U-turn. Business rates overhaul. U-turn. She paused, letting each reversal sink in like a hammer blow against Starmer's credibility. That's 8 major policy reversals in less than a year, and I haven't even mentioned the changes on planning reforms, green energy commitments, NHS reorganization, education funding, or public sector pay. By my count, Mr. Speaker, that's 13 significant U-turns. 13 times this Prime Minister has announced a policy, defended it publicly, then quietly abandoned it when politically convenient. The Conservative benches erupted, Labour MPs sat in stony silence. Starmer gripped the dispatch box, knuckles white. Mr. Speaker, he began, voice rising with anger. The honourable member talks about U-turns as if changing course is weakness. That's responsible government. His tone betrayed him. Not confident leadership. A man caught and scrambling. Another Conservative MP stood, sensing Starmer's vulnerability. Does the Prime Minister recognise that his constant policy reversals make him look like a plastic bag in the wind, blowing whichever direction the political breeze takes him? How can the British people trust a leader who abandons his principles every time they become inconvenient? The plastic bag comparison landed perfectly. Visual, insulting, accurate, and it would dominate every headline for days. Starmer's face flushed red, his jaw clenched tight. That's an absurd characterization. This government is delivering real results. Inflation down, interest rates coming down, wages rising. That's delivering for the British people. But Starmer's defenders always retreat to the same ground. Economic statistics. Blame the previous government. Claims that everything's fine despite obvious chaos. Then came the grooming gangs inquiry question. The one where Starmer's reversal was most politically toxic. Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister spent months refusing calls for a full national inquiry into grooming gangs. He dismissed concerns as politically motivated. Then, when public pressure became overwhelming, he reversed course completely. Can he explain to victims why he initially refused to act? The chamber fell silent. This wasn't about economics or statistics. This was about protecting children from horrific abuse. This was about moral leadership. And Starmer had failed. Starmer's response was carefully defensive. Mr. Speaker, we have always taken this issue with the utmost seriousness. The decision to launch a full inquiry was made after careful consideration and extensive consultation. Notice what he didn't say. He didn't explain why those consultations hadn't happened before. He didn't address why public pressure triggered his reversal. He didn't apologize. Another Conservative piled on about his pattern of reversals after public backlash. Starmer was fully defensive. Now, voice sharp, I will not take lectures from a party that crashed the economy, created an NHS crisis, left public services decimated after 14 years of austerity. We are cleaning up their mess. Classic deflection. When you cannot defend your record, attack your opponents. Mr. Speaker, inflation is falling globally. Taking credit for trends you didn't create while refusing responsibility for reversals you did create is political dishonesty. Starmer exploded. I have been in public service for decades. I will not be lectured about honesty by members whose party presided over Partygate and systematic deception of the British public. The chamber erupted, and there was Starmer, red-faced and defensive, mask completely slipped. A veteran Conservative MP rose to deliver the most damaging intervention. Mr. Speaker, I've served in this House for 23 years. I've watched Prime Ministers deal with difficult issues and sometimes change course when new evidence emerges. What I've never witnessed is a Prime Minister who systematically announces major policies, defends them as essential, then abandons them the moment they become politically difficult. That's not responsive government, that's panic-driven calculation. He paused, letting the accusation settle. And the most worrying aspect isn't the U-turns themselves, it's the pattern. This Prime Minister has no core beliefs, no guiding principles, no vision beyond the next opinion poll. He's reacting to events rather than shaping them, abandoning positions as quickly as he adopts them. The observation was devastating because it was measured, not angry. Seasoned analysis, not partisan attack. Starmer tried statistics again, more economic indicators, more blame, but his voice had lost authority. The two-child benefit cap question revealed 3 positions in 1 year. During the election, he suggested lifting it. In government, he defended keeping it. Now under pressure, he was reviewing it. We are conducting a comprehensive review and will make announcements in due course. Translation, we have no idea, so we're kicking the decision down the road. Then came the WASPy women question. Millions of women affected by pension changes, waiting for compensation, Starmer had implied would come. During the campaign, he'd expressed sympathy. In government, he announced no compensation. The reversal affected real lives, real retirements, real financial security. Mr. Speaker, these are difficult fiscal decisions in the context of limited resources. We inherited a £22 billion black hole in the public finances. The £22 billion figure, Starmer's defense for every unpopular decision, except analysts had questioned whether that hole existed, as claimed. And it didn't explain why he'd made promises he couldn't keep. A Conservative MP pounced immediately. Mr. Speaker, either the Prime Minister knew about this fiscal situation during the campaign and lied to voters, or he didn't know and was incompetent. Which is it, dishonest or incompetent? Perfect trap. Either answer was fatal. Starmer ignored the question entirely, pivoting to attack Conservative economics. Everyone recognized it. Inability to defend the indefensible. What I witnessed wasn't just a bad day at Prime Minister's questions. It was exposure of fundamental leadership failure. Starmer promised stability, competence, integrity after Conservative chaos. He's delivered confusion, inconsistency, and constant policy reversals. The 13 U-turns aren't isolated mistakes. They're a pattern revealing how this Prime Minister operates. He announces policies that sound good, poll well. When they face reality or opposition, he abandons them. No explanation, no apology, just move to the next position. This is governance by focus group, leadership by opinion poll. The opposite of what Britain needs. As the session continued, Starmer's responses became increasingly defensive, more statistics about inflation, more blame, more attacks, but no answers to the fundamental question, why believe his current positions when he's abandoned so many? By the session's end, even his backbenchers looked uncomfortable. They knew this wasn't working. The reversals, the defensive anger, the inability to articulate coherent vision, all catching up with him. You could see Labour MPs avoiding eye contact with each other, some pretending to study papers they weren't reading. Political damage isn't always one catastrophic moment. It's accumulation. 13 cuts that prove fatal. 13 reversals that destroy credibility. 13 broken promises that convince voters you stand for nothing. That's what I watched unfold in the Commons. not a prime minister defending necessary decisions. A politician exposed as fundamentally uncertain about what he believes, willing to adopt and abandon positions based on convenience rather than principle. The plastic bag metaphor was perfect. Starmer doesn't bend with evidence. He flaps wildly wherever the political wind blows, avoiding storms rather than steering through them. And Britain is paying the price for his weakness. Britain deserves better. And after this parliamentary demolition, even Labour MPs are realising their leader isn't the steady hand they thought they elected. 13 U-turns, one failing Prime Minister, and a country asking, what exactly does Keir Starmer actually believe in?